This is the Captain's Jug of Thoughts podcast, a production of
Thermopolis
Media, recorded at the Ontario House, the Stone Jug.
You guys are awesome. We're sitting in this historic building with delicious beers and food on tap, and we're just sitting here talking about the things that make us happy. It's music, it's food, it's beer, it's experiences, it's cool people like you guys.
Cool places.
You can come here and get that.
This is the Captain's Jug of Thoughts podcast.
Hello, everybody. This is the Captain's Jug of Thoughts podcast. We are in the back of the Ontario House, the Stone Jug, the legendary historical Stone Jug, and we're with the captain himself.
Good evening, everyone. Just had a nice, interesting CanAm weekend, so we got a couple things to tell you about that.
Yeah, we did the classic talk about everything we should have outside, and now we're in here. But the CanAm is a big. What is that for people who don't know, like me? It's a boat thing, right?
It's a boat thing. There used to be one of the biggest regattas in the world here, actually. One time.
Yeah, we talked about it last time. You see people wearing the T-shirt all over the country.
Exactly. So now we do like a little thing called the CanAm because Canada is only a stone's throw away, as we've talked about also before, and. So, we'll get 50 ships from sailboats from, in the United States and about 50 from Canada. And then they all kind of meet at the head here, right at the mouth of the river here. And
yeah, because you can come from all around the lake.
Oh, yeah.
And then it all kind of flows right here.
Right. And they have a bunch of different races. There's there's the one that takes off from right here. Then there's another one that takes off out of Olcott, which is about, 3 or 4 towns over. There's one that takes off out of Canada, So you just enter different races at different times throughout the course of the weekend, and that's basically the gist of it.
So they're all coming right here. You guys had music. You had...
Yeah, we the yacht club down below had the Strictly Hip, which is, an incredible cover band of the Tragically Hip. They're very good.
I mean, dude, this area and the Hip, not to sidetrack or anything, but it's when Canada loves something, boy, do they love it.
Boy, do they
when
love it.
When something's Canadian, it's so Canadian and it's so beloved by them. You want to talk the Hip, you want to talk Rush, you want to talk
hockey.
Hockey, of course. But even
curling.
Curling. That one hasn't caught on over here as much.
No, it hasn't. We do have shuffleboard.
Yeah. It's just everybody gets in a big fight. It's totally different.
It's totally different.
One of them is done down on a cruise ship where you can't have ice, and one of them's done where there's nothing but ice.
Right.
It's the same game, just circumstantially, they ended up on 2 different surfaces.
Right. One's in the Great White North and one's in the Caribbean.
But yeah, the Hip is just so beloved here, because we're, basically Canada. We're right here. And
they're right out of Kingston, which is, what is that, 30 miles away?
Yeah, so the band, they built up their following playing a lot of pubs and clubs and stuff and doing tours, so they built themselves up around here.
I actually saw the Hip for the first time when I was in 9th or 10th grade, which you're going back to 91, 92, at Canisius College in their gym. There was probably 200 people there.
Wow.
It was crazy.
That's amazing.
I was like, who is this band? The first time I ever heard their music was in the truck on the way to the show.
That's great, though. That's an amazing first experience.
So, we're listening to it. It's just me and a few girlfriends of mine and their cousin, Joe. Joe's driving us all. He's about 4 years older than the rest of us. I don't even think that most of us were even legal to drive yet.
Yeah, that's because it was at a college, like an all ages show. It's not like it was at a bar or anything. So,
exactly. So anyone could go. Open to everyone. And it was just, I was like, they really they really, really impressed me. I was young.
They're amazing.
I didn't know music nearly as well as I do now by any means then, but I still knew music.
A show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, anybody knows a show.
Right. And my parents brought me up on relatively good music to begin with.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But anyway, we go there and they just blew my socks off. I was like, wow, these guys are freaking crazy.
Did Gord still have hair at that point?
I don't really remember. I don't know if he was wearing a hat. I remember that he jumped all over the place a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this guy's a freaking animal. Like,
Yeah.
you know, just like running around the stage, jumping up and down, and like had just like this voice that you just do not typically hear.
No,
you know?
very distinctive voice.
Very, you know.
And he would do things that were just like his low registers, you know, where he would be low and then bring it up high into these incredibly just vocal acrobatics that you could never match.
Right.
He probably couldn't even do it twice, you know what I mean? And then
Right.
live, he was just so great.
He was. And he would tell it, you know, he would tell stories in the middle of some songs, you know, that really make no sense, but they were fun.
Yeah. They have that timeless nature of, you know, pub and storytelling type of things.
Oh.
You know, they're very old-timey kind of band with some stuff, with the acoustic stuff.
Sure.
But they could rock just so hard.
They could.
And really traditional rock, not like goofy 80s rock, even though they started in the 80s, right? But they were at the tail end where things started to become alternative.
Exactly.
Where people put the cocaine away and the synthesizers went away. They're like, we want to go back to Earth now.
We want to go back to Earth now.
And that's where all this beautiful music came out, grunge and all that stuff. And,
Absolutely. It was a great time.
Yeah, that's so great that they, you know, and Fully Completely is the album, right? Like, that's just, it's part of the soundtrack around here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We 3 years ago when they did their very last show in Hamilton, I believe it was in Hamilton.
It was, they broadcast it.
Yeah, they broadcast it. So we did a live broadcast here. We put up like a 110-inch screen, I think, that we dropped down outside. And, you know, we probably had 250 people here.
Yeah.
Just rocking out to like this live
great.
hip show that was on this giant screen in our backyard. It was fantastic, you know.
They did that all over the place. There's a good documentary on Netflix about it.
Yeah.
About them leading up to it. And I think they had parties like that all over the world.
I bet.
Obviously around here, every bar was everybody who had the capability to do that was doing it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching that and just being pretty just like, oof.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody doesn't know, Gord passed away. Gord Downey, fucking legend. I think anybody listening to this would, but there are people who, like, you bring up the hip and you have no people who aren't from around here, maybe.
Well, if you get 50 miles south of here,
yeah, you bring
almost
up
the rest
hip.
of the country doesn't really know them unless they're from here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I saw them at a festival in Minnesota.
Wow, yeah.
You know, and that's out, you know, is that Midwest? They always say Chicago's the Midwest, and I'm like, that's not any West at all. Like, that's east of the middle. It's
east of the middle.
The fucking time. Just because Kanye West is from there, is that how that happened?
Yeah, maybe.
God, he's a powerful man.
Right.
So, and you're out there, and there was a lot of people who didn't, and we were young, and so we're like, how could you not know who the Hip is? Like, they're the Rolling Stones to me. They're just part of life. Like, everybody knows who they are, but there are people out there who didn't, except one girl standing on a hay bale with a beer in overalls, just every word screaming.
Really?
I'm like,
that
she's
is
gotta
fantastic.
be from around here.
Right. That is awesome.
Yeah, I remember that.
Overalls.
And then I was like, I had that connection to her, you know what I mean? It was great. It was, I don't think, she was standing on something, and it wasn't like on her boyfriend's shoulder. I want to say it was a hay bale. It's a weird time.
It very well could have been.
It was on a farm. It was a festival on a farm. And,
then it probably was, yeah.
Yeah. But
unless it was a horse.
I don't know, it wasn't moving. She's just standing.
It wasn't moving.
Standing on a goat.
Standing on a goat.
In overalls singing hip songs.
Bah.
Yeah. You are from, you know what? Maybe she did come down from Canada. From like that side of Canada. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, she's like, I'm from the Yukon. I've been riding this goat for 3 months to come see the Hip.
I heard about this show. And I said, I'm going. Billy, saddle up.
Oh, that's funny, man. But yeah, beloved band around here. And I saw Gord at Art Park, and he was on stage, and there was everybody standing up cheering, so you can't see his feet because the stage is at like the perfect height. Like, it's not like they're on this big stage, but like everybody right in the front. You know what I mean? Like, it was a kind of a lower stage.
Yeah.
And he knew this, like he knew that that's what it looked like to us. So he grabbed the mic stand and started paddling and shifting his feet, so it looked like he was just like paddleboarding around on the stage. It was like this optical thing. I'm like, this guy is a genius.
Yeah.
Like that's like Charlie Chaplin shit. You know what I mean?
I'm sure he walked around beforehand, or maybe had even been to a couple shows there, at one time or another, and realized that was the situation. Was like, I think I can do something with this.
And it'll be a bunch of confused people in the audience. They're like, he's flying.
He's flying. How is he doing that?
He's a Marty McFly hoverboard under there.
They were supposed to have those out by now, so
They were supposed to do a lot of stuff by now.
yes, they were.
The movie was all bullshit.
It was. I can't believe they lied to us like that.
They didn't tell us what was going to happen to the hip.
Yeah, they could have at least mentioned that.
A little bit of a heads up, man. Jeez, all heartbroken over here.
Yeah, that last show when we did it on the big screen here, I remember a couple of the last songs that they did. Because at that point he knew he was going to die.
Yeah.
Because he had brain cancer, and everyone knew.
Well, it was terminal. That's the press release said terminal.
Exactly. So obviously everyone's already bummed out about that, and I'm sure. It had to be an unbelievable. They booked it or billed it as the Tragically Hip's final show.
In their hometown in Kingston.
Exactly, and it was. I remember you could see him pretty much crying while he's belting out these lyrics.
It was hard, dude.
It was really emotional.
Yeah.
It really was.
At the end, I think they played Ahead by a Century.
Yeah.
And they're just jamming at the end, and he's just looking out and just kind of screaming.
Yep.
I think he's looking around at this going fuck. I don't know. I'm not going to project. I have no idea what the man was thinking.
No, but
he just, it was all,
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that there was a little bit of, I can't believe this is the last time I'm ever going to do this.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I mean, that's terrible. But, again, they're incredible bands.
Yeah. And what the fuck was I just going to say? Well, okay, so you had the Tragically Hip, or the Hip cover, Strictly Hip.
Yeah, so the Strictly Hip are down below at the Yacht Club.
So what we're saying is people from around here really appreciate that music is continuing.
Absolutely, and people were down there rocking.
Yeah. It's like a Jimmy Buffett cover band in Margaritaville.
Yeah, exactly. Exact same scenario. But anyway, so people were just having a blast down there. That was Friday night, and that was, that's basically that's the kickoff for most of the people that are coming into town for the actual races and stuff like that, for the CanAm, quote unquote regatta, whichever one you want to call it. It's basically a small regatta. So anyway, and then we absolutely, as soon as the show ended, they finished up around 11 o'clock, and we're open until 3 a.m.
Come up here, yeah.
And we just got crushed. It was awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they start to fumble, they get a little flustered in situations like that.
You've been in this game for a long time.
A very long time.
So
That's when I thrive.
You get the thrill out of it.
I love it. It's like all my endorphins are everything is just like, whoosh.
I get that.
Yes.
That's awesome, man. That's because, bartending, and now, you're running the whole show. When it's treated right, it's one of the oldest skills.
For sure.
Guess, you know what I mean? It was as soon as people could light fire and build things, and as soon as they figured out booze, someone needs to be the guy who is constantly supplying this.
Yeah, they were like prostitution and liquor.
Yeah.
Those were the two age-old things.
And the Tragically Hip.
And then the Tragically Hip.
What else do you need?
So anyway, that was a really killer night. The night before, though, is the kickoff. The Thursday night is the kickoff for all the locals. And for those people who actually take Friday off and come into town early, but there's not too many of them. But it's we have a street dance, and we put a kiosk out on the road with some tables around it and a big tent and everything. And
can you walk around the street with booze, or are they?
Well, yeah, we set up and we sold booze.
Nice.
So just beer and wine, no liquor. But we're right on the corner. So
yeah,
I'm like, you want a shot?
Go inside. Yeah.
Go in that door right there. So anyway, but and that was good. It started off a little bit. I was real skeptical about how the night was going to go because literally as soon as we got set up, the wind starts picking up, and I'm like, oh no.
Oh, yeah.
And then I hear like a little thunder in the background, and I'm like, oh, come on, because you got to pay a fee, and we got to pay this band, and like, there's different things to consider here. Like, and if you don't sell any booze or any food,
you're just, I was
you're
standing out in the rain for no reason, yeah.
Yeah, which for the first hour is exactly what I did. I sold 5 drinks in the first hour, and it just started downpouring. And I mean, it was weird because the one side of the tent was coming straight down, the other side of the tent was coming in sideways, so there was only about a 2-foot area that I could actually stand under the tent without getting completely soaked.
Oh, man.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
But the weather all cleared up, and I don't know, by 8:30, I would say, the street was pretty well packed, and everyone was having a good time. The band was a solid, cover band down there. It played just a lot of classic rock, mostly, and it was a good time had by all.
Yeah, it's a busy time around here.
It really is.
Yeah, you've been burning the candle at all ends.
Yeah, today's my day off. This is what I do on my day off.
You just chill here and just tell war stories.
Yeah,
sip
yeah.
your drink.
Right.
They kept coming.
They just keep coming.
dead eyes like a doll's eyes. That's from Jaws.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
So yeah, you've been. All right, sorry. What?
Then Saturday night, a little bit slower, but basically same deal. I think Saturday night, the reason that it slows down a little bit is because most people didn't race as well as they wanted to on Saturday because they were so hungover from Friday. So they take it a little bit easier on Saturday so that hopefully they'll be good on Sunday, which maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know.
I don't agree with that. I say keep it going.
That's what I would say, too.
Push it into Sunday. By Sunday, you'll figure out all new ways to go with the wind.
Hey, I got up at 10:30 in the morning after being here until 6:30 in the morning Saturday night. I got up at 10:30 in the morning, made myself a cocktail, went straight down to the Bandanas golf tournament.
Oh.
Played 18 holes. Came back here and bartended for 8 hours.
Damn. You just got to get running.
Yeah.
And then you have a period of crashing. You get up and have an ice cream cone, and then we do a show.
That's exactly right. Little chicken parm, ice cream cone, podcast. That's Monday. That's literally all I've done today so far. I've not been awake that long.
Yeah, but you love those marathons. You love it. You know what I mean? Like when you picture like that, like just getting hammered, I'm like, oh, that sounds terrible. But not hammered drunk. I mean hammered by drunks.
No, I know. Yeah, hammered by drunks.
Yes. I'm just like, oh, God, I would just be like, I'm going to find something else to do for life.
Right.
But you dig it.
Yeah, I do. I absolutely love it. We've got another one coming up this weekend. Friday night, we have 2 different class reunions here Friday night.
Is it from like rival schools?
No. They're both Newport, but the one is the 60-year reunion.
Goddamn.
Which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So we got about 25 or 30 people coming out. They're all 78, 77, 78, 79 years old.
They're just gonna the first speech is just gonna be a list of who couldn't make it.
Yeah, exactly. When we did the rundown of because generally when I do these things, I set something up with either whoever their like class valedictorian was, or sometimes they have like an actual group. Yeah. Like a council, for the class, so to speak. And so I talked to this guy, and, I'm like, this is what we can do. And his biggest concerns were like, is there going to be like coffee and tea? And I'm like, oh, yeah. I didn't really think about it like that.
Well, if you bring coffee or tea, then yes, there will be coffee or tea.
So, yeah, I've got to have a whole coffee and tea section before we put the food out.
Oh, so they can get enough energy to eat, I guess?
I'm assuming, yeah, that must be what it is.
Well, older people are on a lot of medications. They need help lubricating and getting the insides moving. Maybe that's what the coffee's for.
Sure, yeah. They probably throw a fish oil, a little fish oil in there, and get all the joints running, and good to go.
Yeah. So who's the other reunion?
The other reunion is half their age, It's
Yeah.
the 30-year reunion. And these are all people that I know. Like, they, a couple of them actually used to work here back in the day for Eddie, before my time. Really cool guys. And then, a couple of the girls are actually married to a couple of friends of mine, and these are just the people that were in the council when I met with them, which was great, because I knew everyone. I knew every single one of them. They're all 7 years older than me, 8 years older than me, something like that. But
they know the place. They know
the place, and they know, and I they're expecting like 100 to 125, and I probably know 80 or 90 of them.
That's good.
Which is pretty cool and should make for a really fun night.
Yeah. Do you find that like you have a better time with people you know? Because you know everybody around here. It's no. But like when strangers come in, they're strangers better to work with or people you know.
I mean, it depends. I love most of the people that I know, but some of them I don't feel like getting trapped next to all night. But at the same time, sometimes you get a real weirdo when it's a stranger, and you're like, "Uh-oh, what happened? How'd I get into this mess?" But other times you actually find like a really interesting, either person or group of people, and they just have really great stories, and you can exchange some really good stories, and it's
the whole
really
transaction process is good.
Yes, I mean, there's nothing like that.
Because there's got to be things customers do that are annoying.
Oh God,
we don't know. Yeah, we don't know. What do we do? Because I remember when our buddy used to work here, and it would just be swamped, and he's running around sweating bullets and just all frazzled. I'm like, I just screaming names, Steve, and he'd look up like, what? I'm like, can I see a wine list?
Yeah,
just fuck with them. It's funny.
Right.
But what do people do that's annoying? Well, educate the listener. Maybe they'll stop doing it.
Well, first of all, try and ask for everything all at once.
Yeah.
Try not to assume that just because the person's a bartender that they're a moron. Because not all of them are. Most of them, as a matter of fact, aren't.
Know exactly what they're doing. You should put them in control of what's happened. They know their stuff. Just
exactly.
Feed them the information.
There's nothing more annoying than when there's 30 people yelling your name and you pick someone. You're going up and down. Eddie gave me this saying back in the day, and I hold it true to this day. I've used it on all the other bartenders and everyone that I've ever hired. It's called the tiger in a cage. If you've ever seen a tiger in a cage, what does it do? It walks back and forth and back and forth. When you're behind the bar, walk back and forth and back and forth and constantly be looking at drinks.
Constantly just keeping out on who's getting low.
Yes.
God damn, you're prowling.
Yeah. And you should be.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've always used that technique. I already used it, and as a matter of fact, the reason that he even brought it up, even though it was one of his old sayings, it was that he said, "I love that you fucking work here." He's like, "You're already a tiger in a cage," and I was like, "Excuse me?" And he told me what it meant, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess I do that."
So he called you that before he explained it.
Yeah.
You're like, in a cage. What does that mean?
Yeah. The bar is my cage.
I didn't sign anything, did I?
No.
Can I leave?
I'm not trapped. I can get out of here.
You okay, man? I'm not a tiger.
So anyway,
that's badass though. That's like a boxing movie.
Yeah,
like the
I know.
advice you get from the dude in your corner.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's cool as shit. So, but there's nothing more annoying when I finally, you've had your money up in the air, and you've been trying to call my name, probably the wrong name though, because you're in town from somewhere like Kingston, Ontario.
Craig.
I won't answer. Craig. So when I finally pick you, you go, "Can I get a Coors Light?" I go, "Yeah." I grab the Coors Light. I set it down. I say $3.50. They go, "Can I get a Miller Lite?" "Yeah." They set it down. I think that she wants a rum and Coke. All right, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Order your 4 drinks all at once. I will bring all 4 of them over, and then I will tell you that it's $14.50.
Yeah, that's an annoying. That's just common sense. Goddamn shit, though. I don't know.
You would think, but it's not.
People are amazed. I'm amazed at people on a daily basis when I go out. I really like somebody. at my age should not identify with Larry David as much as I do. You know what I mean?
Probably.
I watch that show. I watch like things that are supposed to be for people my age, and I'm like, this is annoying. And then I watch that show. I'm like, yeah, he gets it.
Yeah.
Why would you take that long to get to the door?
Right.
But like, you just see people that do things that are just infuriating. That's what I'm saying. Like, we can use this opportunity to tell everybody to stop being such an asshole. It just blows my mind sometimes. There was one lady, I wanted to take a picture of her. It wasn't doing anything that was really, it wasn't that outwardly annoying, but it was amazing to me. We went to this thing at our park that was, it was called like, there was a thing that was called the Earth Harp, and this other thing called the Big Bang, and they were doing them together. The Earth Harp was this crazy instrument the guy had that had strings that go out over the audience. Like the whole, like above your head are these big strings, and he plays them on stage. It's crazy, yeah, and they put some trip out behind it. It was actually pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And then the Big Bang is this thing from like, I think France, and they have these gigantic inflatable creatures and shapes and all these things. They do this huge, like, I guess, aerial play with like these gigantic things floating around, and there's lights and crazy music. It was nuts, man. And I'm sure anybody who didn't know what was going on, if they were like driving down the hill, would be like, "Oh my god!"
Right.
Somebody like opened a covenant or something. Yeah. There's like all these.
Oh, that's
what the
great.
hell happened? But there's these giant dragons. Like a lot of it was for kids. Kids are chasing it, going nuts. There's this giant glowing 150-foot inflatable dragon floating around. And they would come down really low, and all the kids would try to touch it. And I look over, and it's literally 10 feet in front of this lady's face, and she's looking at her phone.
Of course she is.
I'm like, I can't even believe what I'm looking at right now. Like, not only the gigantic dragon, but that somebody's like not even paying attention to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is in your phone that's more interesting
than a giant
than
dragon?
The 250 foot. She's like, it's not a real dragon. She just goes back to Facebook.
I can tell it's not real.
And I was like, this lady's existence is annoying me. I can't. Yeah.
I used to work with this guy. This was when I first moved back here. I lived in Syracuse for a little while, which is in central New York. And when I first moved back here, I was looking for a job. I knew I was going to get back into bartending again, but there wasn't. I hadn't really looked that far into it yet. Didn't know where there was openings. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Yeah. So a buddy of mine, Pat, says, "Hey, come down here and work on this hotel with us. Be like 40 hours a week. I'll pay you like, this much money, and I'm like, yeah, all right. I can do that for a little while until, just to make sure that I'm keeping ends meeting. And there was this kid that we worked with that I called him Ricky Can-I because every day, he'd be like, hey, Chris, can I get a cigarette? Half an hour later, hey, Chris, can I get a cigarette? Lunchtime would come, hey, Chris, can I borrow $5? So by the end of the week, like, I would always be like, Ricky, I'm like, dude, you gotta, like, start realizing, like, what you're doing here. I'm like, every Friday, you have to give over half of your paycheck back to everyone that you work with because you've used it all. So then Monday comes and you have to start it all over again. Hey, can I borrow $5? So anyway, I've got what I'm leading into is as a bartender, and we're talking about quote unquote annoying customers. I call them, whatever their name is, Can I? Because this one particular person, I will say, is every time, no matter what, every time that they come in, it's a special order. It's never a beer. It's never a rum and coke. It's if she wants a Bloody Mary, she wants a Bloody Caesar Mary. You know what I mean? And I don't really care about that part of it. Like, you like what you like. Personally, I know for a fact that she's doing it just to be difficult. But
I will say I always preferred a Caesar over a Bloody Mary, but that's just me.
I always have too.
They didn't have it. I'm not going to make a big stink about it.
Well, she likes them combined.
Oh.
Yes.
So something weird?
She wants half Clamato and half tomato.
That's unnecessarily difficult.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I know for a fact that she does it she just needs the attention. You know what I mean? Like, so it'll be just crushed in here, and I'll hear, Chris, can I get a little straw? Yeah, so I just like, as I'm walking by, just will throw a little straw in her drink.
Yeah.
As I'm coming back.
Pretty awesome song, by the way. To myself later, note. Put a little straw in her drink. That's like an old Stone song.
It is. That's perfect.
Maybe change it to a big straw, though.
Yeah, well, you haven't let me finish. So as I'm making my round back from the other side of my cage, I'm like, Chris,
You're on the prowl.
Can I get a lime? So I will grab a lime and drop it into her drink. As I come back from the other side of the cage, Chris, can I get an olive? I shit you not. I'm not making this up. I actually completely lost my shit on this woman one night in front of about 40 people.
Wow.
Which is very unprofessional and very unlike me.
I would immediately be like, that's my favorite bartender.
Right.
This lady's been annoying me. He's made her a whole salad at this point.
Well, so she's here with 3 of her close friends. And again, it's one of our busiest nights of the year. It's just jam-packed in here. It's 3 or 4 deep. How she got a seat at the bar is beyond me.
Yeah.
And horrifying. I'm like, no!
I'm a tiger! God damn it.
How did this happen?
In front of all these other customers, you start screaming, I'm a tiger. Everybody's like, what?
So after she had can-eyed her, I don't know, 6th thing, a cocktail napkin came after that, back to a big straw from the little straw, like everything that you could, still not even getting another drink yet.
This is all for the one drink.
Yeah, at least just fucking pay me some more money if you want me to do all this extra work for you.
Yeah.
I just look right at her and I say, if you don't stop fucking asking me for shit, I'm going to freak the fuck out. She goes, oh my God, how could you speak to me like this, Chris?
And they're always so surprised. They have no idea they're doing it.
No, she's shocked.
Yeah.
So I say, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. I'm like, I have never in my life had someone order a drink so specific that that there couldn't possibly be another need for it, and then ask me for 6 more things afterwards. All on separate occasions as well. Not can I get a lime, a big straw, a little straw, a cherry, and it's each time I actually walk by you.
It's just for she's got to say something to you.
She's every time, and it's super hard to hear too. So I'm always like, what? Yeah, here. What? Yeah, here.
You think because you just want it to be over with?
I just wanted it over.
It's like a leek that you keep plugging with olives and garnishes.
I know. Then this leak would not. I needed the biggest piece of bubblegum in the world, and I just could not find it.
You need some of that Flex Seal tape.
So she goes, can you believe the way he just spoke to me, to her friends? And her friend goes, actually, yes.
I've been waiting 30 years for someone.
I was like, oh my God, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I went directly over to her and put a free drink chip in front of her.
Nice. It's satisfying. We're not here to shame anybody. We're not here to embarrass anybody. We're just you need to have that open dialogue. Because, I see it in bands a lot. There'll be 2 guys who just are going to murder each other, but they never say it to each other. They only say it to their friends when they're all hanging out. It's like, dude, if you guys would open the dialogue, it would be squashed in 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
And then we all want the transactions. We all want everything to flow here.
Absolutely.
We need to create a good ecosystem.
Yes.
And it's evolution's going to take out the annoying people.
Yeah. Communication's key.
You got to keep it going because the better the bar is flowing, the better your drinks are going.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
The better everyone's drinks are going, the better, everyone's having more fun. All of a sudden the music seems a little bit nicer. Everything.
It's the good flow of an evening.
It really is.
Oh, but that's very satisfying. I heard a story the other day that I probably shouldn't repeat, but I'm not going to. But it was one of those so satisfying where somebody just got their comeuppance.
Right. I know.
Somebody just came back at them, and you're like, I don't even know these people, and I'm loving this story.
Yeah, I want to high five you.
Yeah. So we want it all to go well.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. That's all we want, And just be a little bit more firm with what you want. And then and end it at that.
Yeah. And pick it all the things at the same time.
Yeah.
Nothing ridiculous and over the top. But also be aware of the people who they acted exactly the same as when the bar's empty as when it's packed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they think, what are you? We just hang out and talk. It's like, well, when it's like crazy busy, like I'm not here. You know what I mean?
When there's 6 people sitting at the bar, I would love to hang out and talk with you. When there are 60, don't act like I can just have this normal conversation with you. Because I can't.
Awareness, and that's what they teach you in meditation. Awareness is a very important thing in life. Self-awareness, but also aware of the world around you. If there's a 150-foot dragon in front of your face, look at it. And if there's a tiger in a cage, don't ask it for olives.
Don't ask it for olives.
All right.
Throw him a piece of meat.
This is the Captain's Jug of Thoughts podcast.
So we're bringing everybody up to speed with the current events around the Jug, the CanAm boat race, which is now is it the spin-off of the regatta, you'd say? The Joni Loves Chachi of the regatta?
So to speak.
Yeah.
It was the regatta forever, back in the late 80s, early 90s, it was 500 boats.
Yeah.
It got scaled all the way back down to like 100, 150, and I don't want to single people out, but the town that we live in is
becoming a real vengeance episode.
Well, the town we live in is relatively old.
Yeah.
I mean, the town itself is old, and so are most of the people.
Yeah.
And
thank you. All the kids want to go to the big city. Bright lights.
That's right. Well, the old people want it to be quiet. Very, very quiet. All of the time.
Yeah. I'll say that I live near Art Park, and the first couple years we're like, this is great. There's a party every Tuesday. And now I'm just like, this is awful. There's a party every Tuesday.
You've become the old man.
There are people ever. And if I go to the concert, I'm like, this is awesome.
Right.
If I'm not there and it's some band I don't care about, the Bare Naked Ladies, I'm just like, this is awful. These people are awful.
These people suck. What are they doing walking across my front lawn with a beer?
Why are they peeing everywhere? They're like puppies. They're pissing on everything.
I gotta put newspapers out in my front yard.
It's ridiculous.
I don't even get the paper. I read all my stuff on the internet.
I'm going to see a band called the Bare Naked Ladies. They're heathens. So I'm becoming one of those guys. I get you. They want it quiet, but you gotta have. I see it like this. You gotta have your summertime where you just go nuts and you bring it all in, and you're the squirrel stashing your nuts. You know what I mean? And then wintertime you can chill out and it can be quiet and you can enjoy it, because when you have a business and it's quiet, it kind of sucks because you're worried about making payments.
Right. And the thing is we have such harsh winters out here that it's going to be quiet in the winter anyway, because nobody wants to go fucking outside.
Yeah.
So we really got to make our nut in the friggin' summer. As you said. So I remember one particular summer, there'd always be a write-up about the regatta the following week in the local Sentinel, the newspaper. And the write-up was, woman on Main Street, unidentified address, calls in, found used condom on front lawn.
I think we did talk about that. Report filed.
Report filed.
Someone had safe sex outside.
And I am very unhappy about it. I'm very Irish Catholic.
Yeah. It's not what the Lord wanted.
What is this thing?
It's a sin. It's a ribbed, lubricated sin.
There's a bunch of little children in there.
They're babies. They're dying.
Oh, God. That was one of the funnier ones.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That it's in the paper. To see that in the paper.
It was such a fucking funny write-up. I could not believe it. I was dying laughing for days.
Yeah.
Well, apparently years.
Yeah.
So one other particular time, the place has been remodeled, slightly over the past few years. And where our kitchen is now used to just be this big storage room. And all that was back there was like pieces of old stools that like Eddie was gonna always use the pieces to put back together
Yeah.
and make like 3 more stools out of the 8 that got broke.
We
you
all
know?
have that. We
Sure.
had this door that was off the cabinet in the bathroom, and it's all this wood, and we were gonna build something out of it, which really just meant I moved it 8 times. Or I'm like, why is this thing
Exactly.
always right where I need to go?
It's right in my way every time.
Well, last weekend I took it out to the road and just threw it out there, and it was the most satisfying thing. I'm just like, goodbye.
I bet.
So I know what you mean. It just
Good
becomes.
riddance.
It just collects stuff.
Well, in this room, it's a pretty big room. It's probably, I don't know, 20 by 25, decent size, you know. So there's cabinets along all the outside walls, and they're just jammed with 50 years of shit.
Yeah.
You know? And we did find a couple cool things in there. Addie and I found a Susie Geisler painting in there.
Oh.
And Susie Geisler, for those of you who don't know, is a local artist who is, you know, very widely renowned. Like, she did I believe that she did the giant at the USC Trojans football stadium. The giant copper Trojans.
Oh, wow.
When you walk into the stadium.
Yeah.
I believe that is her work. So she's done some shit.
She's done, yeah.
You know. So I find this painting, and Eddie's
And it's
like, just take it.
Nice.
And it's probably 30 years old.
It's
so
an original,
It
yeah.
might be like one of her first,
Yeah.
paintings. Well, we don't know, though, that it's her because the painting is inside the frame, like sideways. So there's no signature or anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, I get home, and I just make like a little slit in the top back of it so that I can kind of adjust it with my fingers.
Yeah.
I adjust it, I turn it around, and I'm like, whoa, it's a Susie Geisler. So I immediately call Ed because I'd like to consider myself a relatively honest guy.
Yeah.
And I say, hey, man, just so you know, this is a Susie Geisler. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like, if that thing's worth like $3,000, he's like, you're splitting it with me. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that we found back there. And then the only useful thing really that we had back there was an old freezer that we used to keep a bunch of shit in.
Just had other paintings. It had a bunch of Picasso half-done sculptures.
Yeah.
Mark Twain's diary.
Right. And then a meat freezer.
Yeah. And then, the cold cuts.
So there would always be like a random box from someone that worked here that no one else really knew about. A random box of like Nestle's Crunch ice cream bars or something like that. Like Nutty Buddy, like whatever. It would
stash.
always, always a stash. So we would keep a couple other things randomly back there during big events. Instead of keeping them in the basement, then you can just run back to that room, run back out. So I run back there during regatta this one night, and it's pitch black back there. And I run back there, and I literally bang into a person. And there should never be a person back there.
Yeah.
I'm literally the only person in the building besides Eddie who has access to this room. I'm like, what the fuck? And I fucking turn on the light. I'm like, who the fuck are you? And it's this super drunk guy rummaging through the meat freezer, and he's got ice cream all over his face. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? I'm like, get the hell out of here. He's like, what? Like he's not doing anything wrong.
Like a raccoon. You gotta start bagging pots and
like a
pans
raccoon.
together.
Oh my god!
Hey, get.
I was dying. I'm like, how the hell did he even? I'm like, Eddie, how did this guy get past you? He's like, no one went past me, because the kitchen, the old kitchen, well, the middle kitchen, because there's an old kitchen, which was in the basement in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Then there was the kitchen, and now there's the new kitchen. So the middle kitchen. Is where Eddie sat during all of these events, and he would do his crossword puzzle and drink massive amounts of hot tea and VO.
You'll keep the throat lubricated.
Oh, very. He's got quite a voice on him too, I must say.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm like, dude, you're the only one. It's not this gigantic kitchen. Like the table is literally basically blocking the entranceway to the storage room. How the hell did someone get back there? He's like, no one went by me. I'm like, how the hell did he get in there then? And he's like, I have no idea. Well, there is another door. If you go around the inside of the building, like all the way back around to this old back room that also is like pitch black, he must have just been rummaging around in there, somehow found a door handle, and just kept yanking on it until it broke the chain.
What the fuck?
Because the chain was broke the next day.
Yeah. Wow. So he was like trying to steal. He was like, "There's an original what's her face back here. There's some painting. There's money back here."
There's money back here.
And then he just finds the ice cream and he's like, "The what?"
And he lost some complete train of thought.
Yeah, just completely just
Oh, there's ice cream.
Yeah.
So that was a good one.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. It was very shocking, like just to bump into someone when I walked back there.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
You don't expect anybody to be there.
No, there's never been anyone there before. Never been anyone since. So, yeah, it was
Well, you gotta like
interesting meeting.
like when you're camping, you gotta put all your ice cream things in a bag and hang it in a tree so this guy can't get to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's another tip for all you campers out there. We went camping at a place, I think, up in the outer Adirondacks, and before you go in, you got to sign stuff. You got to give them your license plate and all this stuff. Do you have any dogs? There's a bunch of like paperwork you got to do, liabilities and shit like that. And the kid gives us the whole speech about the bear. You got to put your food up in the car, and
I've
don't
gotten
do
that
this.
speech in the Adirondacks before.
They got to do it legally. They got to do it. And they
Exactly.
had us scared shitless. I was like, I thought everything was a bear.
Was there actually a bear roaming while you were camping there?
No.
Did they say? Because there was when I was there.
Was there? Maybe on the other side of the lake or something. I didn't see one, but there
Right.
was the people next to us who had a dog. So we got there late the first night. And it was dark, and we thought we were alone in the woods. So we're drinking and being loud and playing music. And I wake up, and the nearest tent is about 20 feet away, and they were all sleeping. I had no idea it was there.
I've done that before.
And they were so politely
funny.
like, "Hey, could you guys maybe kind of, 11 o'clock is supposed to be nighttime.
Yeah, quiet
like,
hour."
It was. We got there late, so we didn't get any of these speeches yet. And they had a dog, so I wake up to like, and like walking and pause. I'm like, holy shit,
It's the bear.
it's the bear. He's a small bear. He's very friendly.
It's like you were John Candy in The Great Outdoors.
Yeah.
Bear.
So the next day we're getting the bear speech, and the kid says, "Oh, those citronella candles for mosquitoes." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You got those?" We're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, don't go throw those away right now."
Really?
He's like, "Yeah, bears love them." He's like, "Dude, I've seen a bear up on top of a picnic table, just face buried in one of those, just licking it. They
Really?
love it."
They
And
think
I'm
it's
like,
honey?
I guess they just like it. It's sweet, I guess. Citrusy, maybe they like
Yeah,
it.
Sure, I could see that, I guess.
And I'm like, so they invented a thing that repels mosquitoes and attracts bears. Why would such a thing exist?
Why would such a thing exist?
I'll take the mosquito. You can't put Neosporin on a bear bite. You're done.
No, yeah, I don't think you
It's a
can.
terrible thing. So every time someone lights one, I'm like, fucking put that out.
Did you guys happen to see the bear a couple weeks ago that was here?
There was a bear around. You kept getting sightings of it in the news, and there's pictures of it. It was kind of by us. It was down Mohawk, I think.
Yeah, I knew it was kind of near you guys. It was very close to us, too, at one point.
Yeah, it was in Youngstown. So like, people we know saw it, didn't they?
Yeah, I actually was talking, my mom and my aunt, my mom's sister, both messaged me the night that it was in Youngstown because it was on Oak Street. Oak Street is the street that I grew up my whole life on.
Yeah.
And it is literally 2 streets over from where we are right now.
Yeah.
So, they're like, "Hey, are you okay? We just wanted to make sure. We heard that the bear is like right there." And they were like, "Don't get him too drunk." And I'm like, "All right, I'll try not to." And so I end up calling my mom. These were all through text. Then I end up calling my mom, and I tell her like, what time was the last time it was sighted? That we're just talking. And,
The bear update.
Yeah. So she's like, "All right, well, be careful walking home." And I'm like, I live 100 yards from here.
Yeah.
And but it was literally 100 yards from there. so
It's a small town, so if you and a bear are out at night, you're probably going to run into the bear.
right,
Yeah.
there's a relatively good chance.
Yeah. So don't, owe the bear money. Don't hit on his girl or anything. It's going to get awkward. You're going to see the bear.
Yes,
It's a small
Yes.
town.
And he's probably bigger than you, stronger than you, tougher than you. So I did not see the bear, though. I did, however, see a picture of it 5 houses down from my old house on Oak Street.
Yeah.
I was like, I know that house.
Yeah.
So
He was a local bear. I feel, like just let him do his thing. Didn't they shoot him? I think they had to shoot him.
I heard he got hit by a car.
Did he? Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm team bear.
I don't think he died. The car might have.
Yeah, really. They hit a bear.
It hit a bear.
Who's going to believe you? No one's going to believe you.
Yeah, I know.
Be like, oh, God, Peepaw's drinking again.
Yeah, he was wasted.
That would be funny if, like, one day in the bar, just a really tall guy in a trench coat and, like, a top hat with fake glasses came in and ordered, like, honey, Jack Daniels honey. You're like, are you a bear? He's like, God damn it.
God damn it. They got me.
They got me. Oh.
Jack Daniels honey.
Yeah, we didn't see the bear, but I did have a dude at, like, the gas station. I went in to get cigars and snacks and shit. And the guy was like, there's a bear out, so you want to... And he gave me... He's a nice guy, but definitely, need someone to talk to. So he's telling me all about how bears, they can run downhill, but they don't zigzag. So if you're running downhill, zigzagging away from a bear... Like that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to zigzag. I don't know what, they can't get you, or you run to the side. They can't run sideways downhill, or it's the opposite. Really don't remember, because the whole time I'm thinking this guy's weird, and I can't picture myself running away from a bear today.
No,
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I thought it was just downhill for bears and zigzag for crocodiles and alligators.
That should be.
I spent a little time in Florida.
Yeah. Well, apparently there's bears about, so we should know this. I have not seen a gator yet.
No, I saw some gators down there.
Were they really? They were like deer. Like, were they around?
They were
like if you're near the water.
They were not as around as like you might think. But one particular day, my brother came down to visit me, and he, myself, and one of my best friends growing up, we grew up about 4 or 5 houses down from each other our whole lives. He lives down there, so the three of us went out golfing, and on the third hole, I hit this ball, and obviously it didn't go on the green; it went over the green, and but not too far over. Like, it was an okay shot for me. And he went up to look for it because he had already shot. He was on the green. He's a much better golfer than I am. He's lived in Florida for like 12 years though, so he gets to play all year round.
Yeah, he's got time on his side.
So he's like, "Hardy brothers, get up here, So we get up there. He's like, "Look at that!" And just over it, just a little ways past my ball, is an alligator. I'm like, "Aw." I'm like, "Can I get that?" And he's like, "If you want." And I'm like, "But should I get that?" He's like, "You'll probably be fine." And I was like, "Probably."
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. But
fuck with gators.
But it was really exciting for my brother because he had like a to-do list when he came down to Florida. And he got to cross 2 of them out on that day because one was golfing and one was seeing alligator. So he was, he had a great day. And then as soon as we got back from fishing, from golfing, he took my brother fishing. So then he got to go fishing as well, which was also on his list. So actually he crossed off 3 things out of the, I think, 5 that he wanted to do in the week he was in Florida.
Yeah, that's
all
pretty
in one
awesome.
day.
All right there. Isn't that how Chubbs lost his hand?
That is how Chubbs lost his hand, which is why I did not go for the ball.
Yeah, like I've seen that. I don't want that shitty wooden hand.
No. I'm sure maybe I could have gotten a little bit better than a wood hand, but I just kind of like the 1.5.
Yeah.
Both of them, actually.
They're weird. Like, I mean, I guess it's it's just an alligator, but it's like, you look at that thing, you're like, that's a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
It's a fucking dinosaur.
It is a dinosaur.
A fuzzy, cute animal makes sense to me. A woodland creature, I guess. You see a deer, you're like, yeah, it's a deer.
Yeah.
But like you see an alligator, you're like, that's not from Earth.
That thing came out of the deep.
Yeah, like William Shatner should be shooting that thing with a laser. That's like some other like weird planet creature.
They are very unique, they really are. I mean, you see it. I'll be honest with you, when I saw this thing, because when they're sunning themselves, they don't move.
Yeah, you think they're dead.
I didn't think that it was dead. I just didn't even think it was real. I was like, that's not real. They put that out here. He's like, why would they do that? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. He's like, Hardin, trust me, that thing is real. Do not go near it. I'm like, okay. But, I've got pictures of it in my phone, and, it's laying perfectly still, probably about, I would say 10, 11 feet long, pretty decent size.
Yeah.
And its mouth is just open.
That's weird, yeah.
And it's just like, the mouth is about halfway open. And it's just like sunning itself.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful day, so had to warm itself up before it went back in the water.
I get it. It's weird that his mouth is open. Yeah, animals do weird stuff like when you don't, nobody takes a picture of an alligator doing that, I guess. So, like, you see him do weird stuff. It doesn't make sense. Like a chicken, we have chickens, they'll do the same thing. They'll sun themselves, but they'll lay down and, like, fan their wing out.
Oh, really?
To, like, get it all up in there. Yeah, they take, like, baths in the dirt. If they find dry dirt, they'll just fill themselves with dirt and roll around. They love it. Yeah. And then they get out and shake off, and a little dust cloud comes up, and then they dry off, and they just fan out. And you look at it, you're like, that's a dead chicken. You know what I mean?
We're having dinner tonight.
Yeah, you kind of look over at it, and then the chicken gets up, and it's like... Like, it's mad. It's like, what are you looking at? Why are you it's like you scare each other? Like, no, you were dead. I'm not dead.
I'm not dead.
I'm trying to fucking take a nap. You're bothering me.
I'm trying to get a little suntan under here, under my wing here.
Yeah.
And you gotta come over and start some shit with me.
The look they give you, they're just like, what are you doing? You never see them do that.
Oh, like, that's great.
Yeah. We got sidetracked into the fucking animal kingdom over there.
Yeah, we really did there.
Talking about old regattas, and it used to be. I mean, you guys are still doing something, but what happened? I mean, really, what was the change? It's not the same.
I think that the change was that a large percentage of the community went immediately from their 50s and everything was fine to their 70s, and they were like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So, like, the town kind of put a cap on it and made it smaller.
I think that was definitely part of it, like, because they just did not like the giant, nobody minded the actual races themselves, but, like, we were so overflooded with people. I mean, there were tents being set up in, like, random people's yards.
Yeah.
Because there's just no more room, and we don't have the type of community here that we can take an influx of. I mean, if you're talking about 500 boats, you're talking about 2,000 people.
Yeah,
or possibly more. Minimum 4 people per boat.
There's no hotels here. If they built a hotel, maybe a couple, but then you're taking the whole town, and you're like, we've been to, like, National Harbor, I think it's called, is like outside of DC, and there's like conventions there.
Sure.
We went to the International Marijuana Business Conference there.
Nice.
And the whole place is really cool. It's like this little city, like, on the water, and there's a boardwalk, and it's all hotels and convention centers and restaurants.
Right.
But if you've been there for 3 days, you've seen the whole thing and eaten everywhere twice. And it's great. But then you go, if there wasn't conventions here, this place would not exist.
Exactly, and that's the thing with here.
If here was like that, I guess they could handle that, but it's not.
No.
There's nowhere to put everybody.
There's nowhere to put everybody, and that's the thing. I mean, just... this weekend alone, like I said, we probably only had 50 boats on our side. So, I mean, if you're saying 50, you're talking about 200 or 300 people approximately, probably.
Yeah.
And across the street from where I live, over here, there's a relatively spacious amount of land that...
Yeah, you got a lot next to you that's empty.
Yeah, that's completely empty. So
that gets packed in.
There was about 20 tents and like 5 RVs on that lot. And it was like, and they actually put a bathroom on the street, a bathroom and a drinking fountain and a hand sanitizing station and everything like that. Right there.
They set up a goddamn village, a little shanty town
for them. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So every morning, those 2 or 3 mornings in a row when I got out of work here at 6 a.m., I would walk up into my loft. I would go out on the patio, have a beer and a cigarette, which probably looked weird to a lot of people, but I don't really give a shit because those are my hours. It is what it is.
You just got out of work.
And I would be having my beer and cigarette, and I'd be seeing people crawling out of their tents over to the bathroom, getting ready to go sailing. I'm like, whoa, this is completely opposite.
Yeah, really.
I'm just getting my buzz on.
But you, like you said, you keep those hours. You're participating in the event.
Yes.
And it's only one weekend.
Exactly.
So you're
I don't have to do this every week.
You're getting money out of these people too.
Absolutely.
When you live by our park and it's Tuesday
Yeah.
and Ted Nugent's in town, it's like it doesn't even compute. Because every other day it's just the quietest little town, and everybody's going to work the next day, and it's just nothingness is happening, and I mean, in a good way, right? It's quiet, and then Ted Nugent comes to town, and you're like, I feel like I've been transplanted somewhere else,
right?
And
exactly.
It's just getting annoying. If, like I said, if I go to the concert, I'm like, yeah, party, and then if I don't go, I'm just like, go away. I have nothing to do with this.
Yeah, what are you doing here?
So yeah, and if it's only one weekend, that's fine. And Tuesdays, it's just a weird. I mean, I think I might have told this story when Megadeth played.
Yeah,
their fans were great because they're all older now. They all have babysitters,
Sure.
and they have like their SUVs, and they've been on their jean jacket from high school with the Motorhead patch. You know what I mean? And so they were all great, but like, it was so quiet, like in the town during the show, and I was looking at my neighbor just like pick weeds. Some old lady was just picking weeds, and in the distance is Megadeth. It was such a weird visual.
Right. I bet it was. That's crazy. That's really funny.
Strange town.
Yeah,
and it's actually them. It's not like someone's playing it out of their house. It's the band. It's Dave Mustaine singing right now.
Yeah, right.
Hello, me, the real me.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So I mean, we have a couple of those weekends a year, and that's what. It's one of the reasons though that. I mean, to a certain extent, I get it. I get why that, like I don't want this. Like, it takes a couple days to clean it up. When it's like,
and if you're not participating in it, like you understand it as part of the game to keep the business going. Right. If you have nothing to do with it, you don't sail or do anything. It's like.
I get that perspective, but the part that I don't get is like that these people have to look at the bigger picture. Like, this is part of what keeps our small town and community alive.
Yeah, what keeps it on the map. Yeah.
Like, I mean, nobody wants to live in a town that doesn't have a grocery store or a bank.
Yeah.
Like we don't right now.
Oh, wow, really?
We do not. And they both just closed in the last 2 months. And one of the reasons is because nobody wants to have anybody in our town.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to look at the big picture. You got to take the good with the bad.
I didn't realize it was to that level.
It has become that, Now, from what I understand, either the Dollar Tree or Dollar General or the Dollar Store, I don't know, one of the bigger ones.
Yeah, it's all the same.
The big yellow one.
Yeah.
The one with the big yellow sign?
I think that's Dollar General.
Yeah, I believe we're getting a Dollar General now.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so, we'll be able to buy everything, again, with the exception of meat.
Yeah, or produce or anything.
Well,
yeah, like they don't have.
They have. I think that they have like a lot of. You can buy all the canned and packaged. Like
like it's like your war rationing.
Right. So that's what. Well, I mean, it is a very old town, so like we need to ration for war.
Yeah.
We are right across the river from another fort.
Okay, so you go up to someone who's like, I don't like the noise in the tents. It's like, all right, well, you got to go cook in the basement if we're going back there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you don't like the noise in the tents? How do you like driving all the way to Lewiston every fucking day when you need a cup of milk?
Yeah. So I'll get that as far as Art Park goes. Like, as annoying as it is when it's packed and it's some annoying ass band and they're annoying fans and they're just treat your invite. Like, you understand that these are houses. You're not on a movie set. These are people's homes. You know what I mean? Like, treat that shit respectfully and it's fine.
Yeah.
But they come out of a concert, they're all on adrenaline, they're all drunk, then they go to the bars and the whole town just becomes, they keep it pretty good. The cops do a pretty good job keeping it down. It used to be worse. But I'll take that if then I can walk around the corner from my house and go see Ween or Primus.
Right, of course.
Like, I've had the craziest summer of seeing, like, my favorite artist ever, and I just walk there around the corner.
Yeah, it really is incredible.
It's amazing. And then I just walk home. It's like, I said it to my friend, I'm like, I feel like I'm at a festival and I have like the greatest tent ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, my tent is a big, beautiful house full of instruments and food and you know what I mean, a real bathroom and a girl. It's not just like me shivering with my buddies. Right. Yeah. So you gotta take the good with the bad. Take them both, and there you have the CanAm.
Yep. There you have the CanAm. So hopefully it's going to get a little bit bigger. You know, I don't know that we necessarily needed to get it back up to 500 boats, but
Somewhere where
around 200 would be fantastic.
yeah, the place where it's comfortable, where
Yeah.
it's not crazy. Well, I mean, really, do they ever like open the fort up and say like go camping, like turn the whole soccer field into a campground?
They could, and they did do that this weekend, but it wasn't for that. There was one of the biggest weekends for the reenactments around
Yeah.
here was this weekend. They had 700 reenactors.
That's not loud. Shooting off 700 people shooting muskets.
Right. No, apparently not, because they're at the other end of the fort.
Yeah, so they're it's
so
not
they're
in
not
the
bothering
residential
the
area.
village.
Yeah,
Because the fort itself is about the same size as the village. So,
Yeah.
you know, so when they're all the way at the back end of it, I guess they don't hear it. I don't know.
well, then you set up, you let them camp, and you turn the whole. I mean, there's all the fields out there. You turn them into a shanty town. You let them camp out there.
Yeah.
You bus them in and out
Right.
from the bars back to the shanty town.
What I don't get is why they can't just take off their glasses, turn down their hearing aids, and call it a weekend.
Right. Yeah. Seriously. The buzzer on your stove's been going off for 3 weeks and you haven't noticed. You hear one
come
car
on.
door close 3 blocks away and you're writing a letter.
Yeah, exactly. I know. You know, cut us a little slack here, people.
Good thing they can't figure out how to hear this.
A computer?
What? All right. Well, there you go. Captain's Jug of Thoughts. We want to thank everybody for listening. Thank you for spreading the word. We're going to keep doing them. And well, I don't know. I mean, there's videos, there's stuff. Go to Facebook. Everyone's always asking where to get it. There's a Patreon page that's the main where we put stuff up. But there's videos on YouTube. There's videos on Facebook. Go Google Captain's Jug of Thoughts podcast. You'll find it.
You'll find it.
You're going to find it. And the more we go, the more we'll spread it out. We'll be all over all platforms and everything. But please just find it, spread the words.
Yeah.
We're going to keep doing it.
We're going to keep doing it. Get us out there. Get us, tell your friends, tell your family.
Yeah. And if you have things, I think we're going to get some more beer breweries in here.
Yep, we will. We'll have the Woodcock Brothers out here next week, and then we're gonna take it from there. Try and get a couple other local breweries out here over the next couple months, and we'd love to have you come down and have a beer with us.
Yeah. And promote your product. Let's bring some goddamn commerce down here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to close the post office.
We're gonna close the post office.
Someone poisoned the water hole. We need help.
we need you people.
All right.
But thanks everybody.
This is the Captain's Jug of Thoughts podcast. Recorded at the Ontario House. The Stone Jug. A production of
Thermopolis
Media.